You're already considered successful. You have a comfortable six-figure W-2 job that gives you stability in your life, but you're hungry for more. You've got the capital and the ambition that you need to run a six-figure business, but you don't even know where to start. How do you even go through the process of finding a six-figure business to acquire, let alone go through the process of actually buying it? Today, I'll show you step-by-step how you can acquire a six-figure cash flowing business in less than 6 months. Now, how do I know this? I've acquired 6 businesses myself that do collectively over $5.5 million a year. And this is the exact process I use when acquiring each and every one. Everything from finding the deal to getting funding for it. We're gonna go over it in this video, so let's get into it. The first thing you want to do is identify your niche and your strengths. So the first step is to understand what industry or niche to look at. Say you're currently working at a marketing agency for electricians. Most likely you understand the industry and you find it easier to manage an electrical company than an accounting firm. Now, this doesn't mean you would be limited to just electrical, but you should know what you are good at and what you have experience with and what new skills you will need to learn when buying that particular business. Next is research. You wouldn't just buy a car without checking its history, right? You go on, look at the Carfax, look at the reviews for that type of vehicle. The same goes for a business. Look at market trends, competitors, and the financial health and see how it stacks up compared to everything else that is out there. The main things to look for in business are total revenue, the cash flow, which could be described as SDE or EBITDA, the average cash flow in the last 3 years, their tax returns for the last 3 years, their customer acquisition cost, the revenue per employee, the profit margin, and the years in business. Now, if you want more details, check out the video linked in the top right-hand corner and the second link in the description below for a video that I talked just about those things. The next is get pre-qualified for a loan. If you know what you're doing, you can literally get a business for zero money out of your pocket. I'm not joking. Many of the acquisitions I've done and many of the acquisitions I've helped others do inside my group get deals done with little to zero out of their pocket. That's why leverage can be very powerful if done right. So here's what you need to do in order to qualify for one and how the pre-qualification process works. The first thing the lender is going to ask you for is a PFS or a personal financial statement. Now, a personal financial statement is just a document that you are going to write down and fill out, which has all your assets as well as your liabilities. So for example, an asset would be the home that you own, right? So if your home is worth $200,000 and you have a $100,000 mortgage, on the asset side, you would put the house, that's $200,000 market value. And on the liability side, you would put your mortgage, which is for $100,000. On a balance sheet, that would look to where you have $100,000 worth of equity because $200,000 in market value minus the $100,000 that you owe back to the bank leaves you with $100,000 left in equity. Now, you're going to do that for credit cards that you owe payments on. You're going to do it for cars that you may own. Also, if you have car payments, you would put in the liability side. So you go through your entire financial life and you put all of the things that are good on the asset side and all the things that are bad, which is the liability side. The bank is going to look at this and they're going to decide how much leverage they can give you or how big of a loan could you handle in case this business were to go under and you personally needed to pay them back. The next thing the bank's going to want to look at is the last 3 years of tax returns for you in your personal life. So they're going to look at wherever job that you've done previously, a W-2 or whatever that may be. They're going to look at the last 3 years to see what you've been reporting for your income. And last but not least, may even be one of the most important factors that a bank is going to look at is you as a person. What is your experience? What's your resume look like? What have you done in the past 3 years or 4 years or 10 years, however long you've been working in the workplace? What have you done and why does that translate to you being a good bet on the business that you're buying? Now, everyone out there has skills. Everyone out there has experiences. Finding out what those are and packaging them in a way that's easily told in a narrative to the bank saying, my name is Ben Kelly. I was an Army military intelligence officer. Then I worked at JP Morgan in their private bank. And now I want to buy this business because these are the things that I bring to the table. You need to do that for yourself as you're looking to go and have that conversation with your banker for the first time. Now, once you have submitted all that information to the bank, they're going to get back to you probably in a week and they're going to say, congratulations, you qualify for $1 million loan. And we're happy to be the bank that will fund your deal. Now go out there and find the deal. So you got that out of the way, but now we're going to get to the harder part, which is actually going out there and getting the deal. But before we get the deal, we need to do another step. And this one's a big one. We need to assemble your team. I sound like the Avengers here when I say assemble your team. You're not going to be able to do everything on your own. You do not have the legal expertise that's going to be needed for the contract negotiations and then the purchase agreement. You're not not going to have the accounting background most likely to go and do a proper due diligence on the deal. So you need to find these people that are going to be a part of your team. And there's a couple ways to do that. On my first few deals, I actually went out on LinkedIn and I found people that fit the profile of the people that would be a great deal team for me, including an M&A accountant and an M&A lawyer. And that's how I brought my first deal team together, making sure that I was being smart about the deal and that it was going to be a home run from the beginning. Now, I would recommend at least getting a M&A lawyer who this is all that he does is look at purchase agreements and contract negotiations between different businesses purchasing one another. That's what you want to have. The second is the accountant with due diligence experience. Not all accountants have due diligence experience. You need an M&A focused accountant or CPA that knows how to go and look at the bank statements. They know how to go do a cash flow analysis. They know how to do some forensic accounting to make sure that this business is as profitable as they are selling it to be. Okay, so now we've done all the pre-stuff. You've gone out and got a pre-qualification with the bank. You've gone and assembled your deal team together. Now we need to find the business that's for sale. There's two main ways in which you can go out and find a deal: off market and on market. An on market deal is something where a business owner wants to sell. They contact a business broker. That broker then represents them and puts out a flyer, or they put out a listing showing that the business is for sale and to contact them. The broker is going to be paid on the sell side, and that is a negotiation between the seller and the broker. Now, that is where most deals happen, but I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that off market is where you're most likely going to get the best deal. Doesn't mean you can't get a great deal on the on market side, but when you talk about off market, there's no broker involved. It's just you and the owner. Now, that usually means that you're going to get a better purchase price. Usually that means that you'll be able to get some creative financing done when you're looking at a deal. I'm a big fan of the off market, as you probably can tell, although I've done deals on market as well, and there are good deals out there to be found that way. Now, as I just mentioned, on market, you're going to be finding it through a listing. Off market, you're going to have to reach out and get these owners where they are. That's going to be through cold calling. That's going to be through cold email. It's going to be going through your own network and asking if anyone knows anyone interested in potentially selling their business. It takes time, it takes effort, it's a numbers game, but the payout will be better in the long run on average. So at this point, you found your off-market deal. The seller's great. He wants to sell an amazing business, and you start doing your due diligence to make sure that this is a truly profitable, cash flowing business that you want to add to your portfolio. So now you are on your way to getting this thing under contract. How do you do that? Now, small businesses usually operate on a multiple basis based on the cash flow. There are certain industries out there, accounting being one of them, where it's based on total revenue. But for most of them, it's going to be between 2 and 4x the cash flow that happens on a yearly basis. And so when we're looking at negotiating, a 2x business is one that's very reliant upon the seller. It's pretty much the seller doing all the work. And if you were to buy it, you are buying a job. A 4x business is one where everything is running smoothly. They have great growth. The owner is focusing on strategic initiatives. They're not the one actually doing the day-to-day job. Those go for more money. So they'll be up to 4x the amount of cash flow. Now, when you are going to look at the purchase price that you want to throw out there in your letter of intent, the LOI, you're going to be looking at how does this business operate? Does it have a really solid administration team that's running the day-to-day, or is it pretty much the owner doing everything? And that's going to be able to tell you, should you be more on the 2x side or more on the 4x side? Now, the second thing you're going to be looking at is the industry. How much has it been growing? Is there a lot of headwinds or obstacles to growing this business? Or is there a lot of tailwinds, like there's legislation being passed, there's just a big push for this type of product in the marketplace, which can propel you to grow this business easier than others. You need to look at every single deal holistically, looking at everywhere from the financials to the industry and then to the team that's actually going to be running the business once you buy it. So now at this point, you have made your offer. It was based on a good multiple and the seller has agreed, and you're now under LOI and you're working your way towards signing the purchase agreement and getting closer and closer to closing on your first acquisition. Now, everything I just said broke things down in a very simple manner into a couple different steps, but I want you to be able to conceptualize that it's not super complicated. It's not something that's out of your grasp. It takes just a very focused and strategic approach in order to get your first six-figure cash flowing business in 6 months or less, doing this exact same method that I've done. Now, if you're serious about taking this journey, I have an accelerated program where I will literally walk you through every single step, along with 150 other students I have right now, on how to acquire a six-figure cash flowing business in 6 months or less. Now, click on the link below to find out more. And one more thing, if you want to see what metrics I look at before buying a business, hit the second link to watch my last video where I cover exactly that topic. If you found this video valuable, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. I appreciate you all. That's it, and I'll see you on the next one.